Hello, everyone. It's Kelly Knoll here from Heritage Appraisals. Today, I'm here to introduce another episode on our podcast, Art, Sparkle, and Value. Today's episode, we're talking just general, let's talk personal property appraisals and why they matter. So it's a really brief overview on a little bit of everything regarding why you would need an appraisal and when you need an appraisal. But we do plan on putting out lots of episodes on specific reasons in detail for you. So keep an eye out for those and please subscribe. And we hope you enjoyed today's episode.
Welcome back to the deep dive. You handed me these sources on personal property appraisals, and I was really struck by how much goes into it. It's way more complex than I think most people realize.
Oh, absolutely. It's a field that demands incredible rigor.
So today, we're diving into that world of certified valuation. We've got sources talking about the really strict standards, the huge scope of what gets appraised, and, the kind of deep expertise needed. We're talking diamonds, decorative arts, obscure historical stuff.
Pretty much anything of value, yeah.
And our mission really is to get a quick handle on this, not just what they appraise, but the whole framework behind it. The legal side, tax stuff, insurance claims, when you really need a professional certified number.
Right.
We're basically looking for what makes a real professional report different from just like a casual guess, something that holds up legally speaking.
And that difference. Casual guess versus legally defensible report. That's really the core of it. When you're dealing with potentially high-value assets, maybe for legal reasons or big donations, trust comes down to compliance. Certification.
Okay.
And all our sources point to one specific standard that underpins everything.
Right. I saw that everywhere. USP. It's always USP compliant appraisals. That's the one.
That's the one. USPP. The Uniform Standards of Professional Appraisal Practice. It's the bedrock. It ensures the whole process is valid, reliable, ethical.
Okay.
So when a firm like Heritage Appraisals in our sources says they offer the most up-to-date, comprehensive USP-compliant appraisals, that's the first signal. They're saying our work meets the mandatory standard. Without it, honestly, the report isn't worth much in court or for, say, the IRS.
Gotcha. So USP is like table stakes. But the sources also talk about experienced, certified personal property appraisers you can trust. So beyond USPAP, what else builds that trust, that authority?
Well, it's that combination, right? Compliance, yes, but also the credentials of the people involved. It starts at the top.
Mm-hmm.
The firm we looked at is led by Kelly Knoll, who's an ISA-certified appraiser.
ISA, what does that stand for again?
International Society of Appraisers. Getting that certification, it's a big deal. It means rigorous training, peer review, sticking to professional standards that often go, beyond just the baseline legal requirement of USPAP.
Okay, so it's layers of credibility and their reach. They mentioned they're national certified appraisers, serving all 50 states, but based in Michigan. That sounds significant.
It really does. It suggests their expertise is recognized widely, across state lines. Institutions likely trust their work nationally.
Makes sense.
And another thing I noticed for anyone thinking about using these services, they make the first step pretty easy. They offer a free initial consultation.
Ah, that's smart. Because this stuff can feel intimidating, right?
Exactly. That commitment-free chat removes a big barrier if you're just trying to figure out if you even need an appraisal.
Yeah, good point. Makes the complex process feel a bit more accessible upfront, even though the actual work behind that final report is, well, incredibly complicated.
Oh, definitely.
And this is where it got really fascinating for me. We might think, okay, appraising a painting, maybe some jewelry, but the scope in these sources, it's huge and so specific. They break it down into 4 main areas, but the details within them are kind of amazing.
Yeah, let's break down those 4 buckets. What really stands out is the depth of specialization required. Not just art or antiques, but materials, techniques.
Right.
So first up, jewelry and timepieces. They mentioned certified appraisals covering everything from traditional to contemporary styles, estate pieces, custom work.
Okay.
And the material knowledge has to span like huge diamonds down to tiny rare gemstones. And the timeline, ancient history right up to brand new pieces. That's a massive range.
Wow. Yeah. Covering centuries of style and material. Okay. What's the second category?
Sculpture and glass. Now this gets really technical.
Yeah, I saw that.
Materials like bronze, mixed media, porcelain, even jade. But the glass part, They specifically mention expertise in hand-blown versus slumped glass techniques.
Slumped glass. That's exactly the kind of detail I love finding. Why does knowing how the glass was made, hand-blown or slumped, matter so much for the value?
Because it tells you so much about the piece. The labor involved, the potential rarity, the time period it likely came from. Hand-blown often suggests older individual craftsmanship. Slumped glass uses molds, a different process entirely, often associated with different eras or production scales.
Okay.
So the appraiser isn't just saying it's a vase, they're identifying the process, and that directly impacts scarcity, condition assessment, and ultimately market value.
So it's real scholarship connecting directly to, like, a legally defensible number, not just a quick price tag.
Precisely. That's the difference. Then you've got antiques and furniture. This covers, everything from small antique object art, those little decorative objects, right up to large pieces of period furniture. And again, they need that full spectrum. Traditional, contemporary, historical, even the truly obscure stuff.
Obscure. I bet that's where the real deep dives happen for them. Okay, and the last bucket.
The fourth one is fine art and decorative art. This one feels almost impossibly broad sometimes.
Yeah, how do they manage that? It lists everything from one-of-a-kind masterpieces to multiples, like prints or limited editions.
That's where a team of specialists often comes in. You need different expertise. This category covers the widest visual range: paintings, prints, decorative items, and again, spanning traditional and contemporary markets. Valuing a unique painting versus, say, a limited edition print involves very different market analysis, different questions about provenance, condition.
So the big takeaway here for you, the listener, seems to be specialization. These aren't generalists. They have deep, specific knowledge. Jade, bronze, hand-blown versus slumped glass. Sound like a university department sometimes.
It has to be that precise, because if the details are wrong, the valuation can be challenged. Especially in legal or tax situations, precision is everything.
Right. Which leads perfectly into why people need these appraisals. It's
Yeah.
usually not just curiosity or selling something casually. The sources list some really serious context. This is the why behind needing a certified professional.
Exactly. We can group those reasons, those services, by context. First, there's basic financial protection.
Like insurance.
Yes, insurance coverage and, importantly, damage claims. If something valuable gets damaged or lost, you need that certified appraisal number to prove its value and get properly compensated.
Makes sense. What else?
Then there's the whole area of tax and philanthropy. This is huge. Appraisals are absolutely required for things like charitable donations claiming tax-deductible gifts.
Ah, the IRS connection.
Definitely. And one source even had a client testimonial mentioning help with preparing the IRS form needed to take a tax deduction. That shows they're dealing directly with federal compliance.
Okay, that's a big one. But the legal contexts feel even heavier somehow.
They often involve the highest stakes, for sure. They handle legal distribution. Think about things like divorce settlements, where assets need to be divided, fairly equitable distribution, dissolution of shared property.
Very high stress, high value situations.
Absolutely. And related is estate planning. That covers estate, will, and trust planning, general estate evaluations, and then the really complex stuff like estate probate and dealing with estate taxes. In all those cases, you need an unbiased, rock-solid valuation that can withstand legal challenges.
And finally, there's a category that feels like the ultimate test of their credibility.
Right, the professional review services. This includes acting as an expert witness in court, litigation support, doing investment evaluations, and even reviewing other appraisals.
Expert witness.
Yeah. When an appraiser has to stand up in court and defend their valuation or submit that deduction paperwork to the IRS, the report, the methodology, everything has to be absolutely airtight. They're not just providing a number, they're defending the entire process behind it.
Which circles back to institutional trust, doesn't it? It's not just about their own certifications, but who else trusts their work.
Exactly. That list of past clients speaks volumes. It's validation from organizations that deal with high-value property all the time.
Let's look at that list. It really underscores the level of expertise we're talking about. Which institutions are relying on them?
You see major cultural players: the Detroit Institute of Arts, the University of Michigan Museum of Art, Flint Institute of Arts, Toledo Museum of Art, Cranbrook Art Museum.
Okay, so top-tier museums. If they trust your methodology for valuing art, that's a massive endorsement.
It really is. But it's not just museums. The list also includes major corporations like Kellogg Company and CompuWare.
Interesting. So corporate assets, too.
Right. And respected universities like Wayne State, colleges like Henry Ford College. When a big public company needs an asset valued, maybe for their balance sheet or a huge insurance policy, they need this specific, high level of certified expertise. It shows trust from art history all the way to corporate finance.
And beyond just doing the valuations, the sources also hint at the deep knowledge base through, like, educational articles they publish or promote. The titles alone show you the kind of scholarly detail involved.
Yeah, they're not just market watchers. They're digging into material science, history, authenticity, like the title, How to Spot a Fake. Art authentication tips for collectors.
Yeah.
That's fundamental, right? Authenticity changes everything about value.
Totally. And there were a couple focus on technical specifics that caught my eye. One was the differences between heated and unheated rubies and sapphires.
Ah, yes. Crucial in gemology.
And the other, painting mediums throughout history, visual and tactile identification. Visual and tactile. Okay, let's take the ruby one. For you, the listener, why is knowing if a ruby was heated or unheated so critical for its final appraised value? It sounds like a tiny detail.
It sounds tiny, but it's huge in the gemstone world. Heating is a common treatment. It can improve a ruby's color and clarity, making it look better, more valuable than it might naturally be. It's generally accepted if
Right.
disclosed. But a ruby that is naturally that beautiful, perfect color, great clarity, without any heating is incredibly rare. So an unheated stone of top quality is worth significantly more, sometimes dramatically more, than a similar-looking heated stone.
Wow. So identifying that treatment or lack thereof could change the value by what?
Oh, easily 50% or more,
Yeah.
depending on the specific stones, maybe even multiples. Knowing the treatment history is absolutely critical. That's the kind of dark material science that separates a certified gemologist appraiser from, say, just a retail jeweler.
Got it. Okay, so wrapping this up. We started asking what makes a personal property appraisal truly trustworthy, and the answer seems to be a combination of things.
It really is.
You need that strict mandatory compliance with U.S. TAP standards. That's non-negotiable.
Right, the foundation.
Then you need that deep, specific expertise, knowing materials from bronze to jade, techniques like hand-blown versus slumped glass, treatments like heated versus unheated gems.
That's specialized knowledge, yeah.
And finally, it's validated by trust. Trust from institutions, from museums, from corporations, from the legal system.
Absolutely. If you connect all those dots, the job of the certified appraiser is really fascinating. It's bridging history, art, science, all that deep knowledge with very practical, very demanding modern requirements, legal standards, tax codes, insurance policies.
So that final report isn't just a number, it's like a mini thesis, backed by research and ready for scrutiny.
You could say that, yeah.
Okay, so here's a final thought for you, the listener, to mull over. Think about all the tiny details we touched on. The history embedded in antique carved wood frames mentioned in one article title, identifying painting mediums by sight and touch, knowing if a ruby was heated. How many of those seemingly small, specialized details pile up to create the final defensible value for just one piece of antique furniture or one custom ring? The amount of hidden scholarship behind that single number is pretty staggering when you think about it.
It really is. A lot goes into that final figure.
Well, thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the world of certified personal property appraisals. Fascinating stuff. We'll catch you next time.